ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ? ಓಕೆ. ಓಂ ತ್ವಮೇವ ಮಾತಾ ಚ ಪಿತಾ ತ್ವಮೇವ ತ್ವಮೇವ ಬಂಧುಶ್ಚ ಸಖಾ ತ್ವಮೇವ ತ್ವಮೇವ ವಿದ್ಯಾ ದ್ರವಿಣಂ ತ್ವಮೇವ ತ್ವಮೇವ ಸರ್ವಂ ಮಮ ದೇವ ದೇವ. ಓಂ ಪಾರ್ಥಾಯ ಪ್ರತಿಬೋಧಿತಾಂ ಭಗವತಾಂ ನಾರಾಯಣೇನ ಸ್ವಯಂ ವ್ಯಾಸೇನ ಗ್ರಥಿತಾಂ ಪುರಾಣಮುನಿನಾಂ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಮಹಾಭಾರತಂ ಅದ್ವೈತಾಮೃತವರ್ಷಿಣೀಂ ಭಗವತೀಂ ಅಷ್ಟಾದಶಾಧ್ಯಾಯಿನೀಂ ಅಂಬ ತ್ವಾಮನುಸಂದಧಾಮಿ ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆ ಭವದ್ವೇಷಿಣೀಂ. ನಮೋऽस्तु ते व्यास विशाल बुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायत पत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारत तैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमय प्रदीपः प्रपन्न पारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञान मुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः. सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत. वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथा जला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला. अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरननदी कैवर्तक केशवा. पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितं. लोके षड्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे. मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं. यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः सुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः. शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णु भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं सर्वलोकैकनाथं सर्वलोकैकनाथं.
Thank you, Athar. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's lecture, Bhagavadgita for current day social life. Everybody desires a healthy, wealthy, happy, and peaceful life. We go in search of various things that can help us fulfill these desires. As a part of that journey, we also came across with Bhagavadgita. During the course of Bhagavad-Gita classes, we found out there are many things that talk about the importance of social life, such as the shloka Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Kavihastini, Shuni Chaiva Shopakecha, Pandita Samadarshinaha. These are things that are easily said, but is it equally easy to implement it? It probably might have been during the Mahabharata times, when people and the society at large probably had a goal of moksha. But we live in a very different world today. We live in a world which indexes more on bhoga than moksha. The society at large looks up to people who have been rich and famous, who have achieved something. Naturally, all of these people become our heroes and we try to follow their path. At the outset, it does appear to us like that we have to fight, compete, step over each other and be selfish in order to achieve these goals and become something in life today. That having said, now when we look back at Bhagavad Gita, which says that we have to have a better social life, we have to see everyone equally, we have to be more amicable in the society, do these both not conflict? How can we actually bring the learnings of Bhagavad Gita into today's life, and does that really help us achieve happiness? That is something that is a question that will always remain, that has always remained with us. And to address that, today we have Dr. Raju joining us from Texas. Dr. Raju has been living in Texas for about 30 years right now in US. And he is probably representing the epitome of a fast life for us. He is a doctor catering to newly borns who have dire conditions and need an immediate medical attention. He has been practicing, studying, and teaching, as well as living the life of Bhagavad Gita for more than 20 years now. So on behalf of all of us, I heartily welcome Dr. Raju to address this topic and enlighten us. Thank you. Dr. Raju.
Namaste. Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Can you see me okay too? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Sabhayai Namaha. Can I share my screen?
Yes.
And we'll go to the presentation mode. Maybe I should go to the, okay.
Yeah, we can see now.
Yep, thank you. And please feel free to interrupt me to make any suggestions if the voice is not clear or if there is an interruption, or you can even interrupt me and say that you're going too fast or too slow. Okay. So now let me first thank you all, and thank you, Guruji, for asking me and thinking of me to share this vast knowledge with you. And I must make a disclaimer that I'm not completely living the life of Gita. I'm trying. So Gita actually, to me, is Gita in G-I-T-A, Gita in today's action, Gita in today's action, G-I-T-A. And when you ask me, can you please speak on Gita and social interaction? Oh my goodness. I mean, this is all Gita is about. And is there anything in Gita which is not about social interaction? So we will go through that. I will quote some of the verses from Gita for their authenticity, flow, and the beauty and the magnanimity of the verses and the power of the mantras. Each verse is a mantra. And a mantra, which literally means mananat trayate, by remembering, it protects us. And we'll see that. And there is no attempt to show off by me when I chant something or when I quote something. It is, again, as I said, for the beauty and magnanimity. And some of you actually may know much more than what is discussed here. And that is true. And for some of you, it may be overwhelming when you listen to so many verses in one session, but you don't know how many verses I'll be skipping. And some of you may go along with me as we go through these verses. And some of you can relate to the verses when I don't quote the verses even. And I was trying to see how I can start and end this. And I thought there is no better way than just taking the order of the teachings in Gita itself. And then we will have a session where we can discuss. It's more than question and answer. Let it be more like a debate and samvada. I would like to thank all the gurus. And the gurus, as we can see, Sadasiva Samarambham, Vyasa Sankara Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. Sadasiva or Narayana Samarambham, Nathaya Muna Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. So started with Sadasiva, Narayana. And from there, Vyasa Maharshi, Vyasochistam Jagat Sarvam. Whatever the philosophy, whatever the teachings we have today is the blessings from Vyasa Maharshi. That's why we celebrate Vyasa Purnima, to offer our tribute to gurus. Then Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya. And from there, these great gurus, some of them you can recognize, some contemporary gurus, Swami Chinmayananda, Tejamayananda, Sarupananda, Sarvapriyananda, Ranganathananda, and the teachers whom I still interact with, Swami Sarvesananda, Sivatmananda, Paratmananda. And I had the fortune to meet and learn from the great gurus. I probably am so fortunate that I have attended Swami Ranganathananda lectures, Swami Chinmayananda's discourses, and interaction with Swami Dayananda. It's Swami Dayananda who said, well, you read enough now, you have to spread. So that was the message from Swami Dayananda. But before we go further, I would like to share a small story which Swami Chinmayananda has said. So there were 3 beautiful toys, like 3 monkeys. I wanted to bring that up, but every time you talk about 3 monkeys, the famous 3 monkeys, but I wanted to tell you about 3 monkeys which look exactly the same, the replica, the triplica. So the replica, that all 3 are looking the same. But the one who made, he brought it to the king and said, "O king, can anyone make out the difference in them? They sure are different." And everybody tried, and no one could succeed. So he just left it there, and then he just took it to his house and then put it on his coffee table. And his young son was playing with them, and he found out the difference. And the difference was he was playing with a string. And then you know how the kids are. They are like monkeys. So he just started putting the string into one of the ears. And then the first one, it just came out through the other ear. And the second one, he tried again, the same thing. So it came out through the mouth. Then in the third one, he tried from left, it didn't come out. It tried from the right, it didn't come out. So the message of these toys are, so there are some, sometimes me too, listen from this ear and then it comes out from the other ear. And the second one, and whatever I heard and listened, I'm trying to share so it comes out through the mouth. And the third one, someone like Guruji, who it doesn't come out through the mouth, but through the acts. It just sinks into them. So salutations to all of them, all of you, Guruji, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and practicing and living Gita. So how much time I have? And now let's start the time. One of you can tell me, about 45 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Give me, I have the watch in front of me, but give me just a little indication about 10 minutes before so that we could wrap up.
Sure.
I have about 40 slides, so you also can see, how much more is he going to talk. So about 40 slides to share, and then we will just go through, and then some of them I may be rattling through, but these slides will be shared with you. So in Shastra, it is said we need 4 gakaras. The other day I was talking to Guruji. So gakara, ga means the letter ga. So it's very auspicious word, ga. Ga Govinda, ga Gita, ga Guru, ga Ganga. So there are, in the same way, there are other 2 Gas for us in the modern world. Of course, who doesn't know about Google and who doesn't know about these satsangs, group discussion. So the group discussions, this is so important. It is said that the knowledge is acquired in 4 different quarts. Acharyat padamadatte padam shishyasvamedhaya sa brahmacharibhyaha padam kalakramenacha. Acharyat. So Acharya is the one who acharati, swayam acharati, he practices, he lives, and acharayati, and he'll make every attempt for us to practice. So a quarter from Acharya. And a quarter according to our intelligence. Each of us are endowed and bestowed with a certain IQ and understanding. And a quarter from the co-disciples and co-students and friends and the discussants in the group. Sat brahmacharibhyaha. And the rest, kalakramenacha. So this kala are 2 things. One is the experience we acquire through our experiments and interactions in the society and introspection within ourselves. So, experience of the interaction and that experience of introspection and the blessing from that Supreme Guru, Gita, and God. These are the most important things, that kala, that blessing, param društva nivartate. Param društva nivartate. Rasavarjam rasopyasya param društva nivartate. So the last bit, that ultimate experience is only possible when we look up to Param or when Param looks upon us. Then the grandeur of Gita with the reference to the text. It is inscribed by Ganesha, described by Vedavyasa, inquired by Dhritarashtra, and enjoyed by Sanjaya. Inquired by Arjuna, imparted by Lord Krishna, witnessed by Hanuman, and practiced by wise men. Inquired by Arjuna, imparted by Sri Krishna, witnessed by Hanuman, practiced by wise men. Gita, the song celestial, for all of us, a life's manual. To know the life, to know the self, to see the world, to see the Lord, read or write, sing or chant, listen or learn, Gita, oh my friend. It shall enrich your mind, it shall unfold the world. The song of Gita is to enjoy and experience and enjoy. The singer of Gita is an NY. Now, Gita has 700 verses. Gita has 700 verses. There is a meaning behind it. 7 is a very sacred and mystic number in all the religions. There are only 7 days. There is no 8th day that we live. There are only 7 colors. There is no 8th color we see. There are only 7 swaras. There is no 8th tone. And then we take 7 steps. There are 7 swargas, or the upper heavens. And then there are 7 Patala Lokas. The 7 chakras. So this 7 is a very mystic number. And then 100 means not just 100, infinite number. So we live these 7 days again and again infinitely as a jiva. And this is very applicable. So not that during Mahabharata time or pre-Mahabharata time, now and hereafter as well. And there are so many Gitas. Gita means sung, the one which is sung. Particularly this Bhagavadgita. It is called Bhagavadgita. There are Rama Gita, Siva Gita, Ganesha Gita, and Astavakra Gita, so many. This is not called Krishna Gita, it is Bhagavad Gita. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. The Paripurna Avatara of all the incarnations is Lord Krishna. And to his friend Arjuna, this text is like a dialogue. It is not vada, it is not one-sided dogmatic lecture. It is not vivada, they are not arguing. It is samvada. There is a harmony between both the disciple and the teacher. Both the wavelength is so perfectly matched. The frequency of both of them is so appropriately seen throughout the text. And then it's not cock and bull stories. It's not Lord Krishna, his own theory or his own way of practice. And Lord Krishna himself says in the 13th chapter that I am teaching you this as the message from all the great texts. And whenever we write an article, we write the references at the end of an article in the journal. And he says, Rishibhip Parigitani, Chandobhir Vividhai Prataka, Brahma Sutra Padaischaiva Hetubhir Vinischitaihi. This has been sung by so many rishis. Rishi, Darshanath Rishi. The seer is called Rishi. So many seers. Chandas means Vedas. Apaurusheyas Vedas. And Brahma Sutras. And then whatever has been taught with reasoning, Hetubhir, that, O Arjuna, I am teaching you. And this teaching is an inner struggle for all of us. And that is the very reason why it was not taught in a cave or in a school or under a tree. It was taught in the midst, amid the war field. There are only 2. We were talking with Guruji again. There are only 2 which were taught and very effective teachings in the war field. One is Bhagavad-Gita, other is Aditya Hridayam. And this Antarmadhana will help us with outer interaction, social interaction, Bahya Pravritti, and our own profession, Vritti. So whether in education, whether in vocation, or whether in our employment and every other social interaction at home, outside the home. So there are many aspects and facets of our life, both within us and without, in the world of plurality. And we have to see the beauty of Almighty in all this. So what is this Kurukshetra and Dharmakshetra? Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, that's how the beautiful text starts. And this is called Vyasa Samasa Paddhati. Vyasa has this beautiful narrative, and Valmiki Maharshi, of course, you see you see most of you have your own journals. I'm used to more medical journals. There is an abstract, and then at length there is introduction, methods, results, and discussion and conclusion. So the abstract is said in the beginning. And Valmiki Maharshi started this as Adi Kavya. That's why you see Sankshepa Ramayana, that 100 shlokas, which talks about the entire 24,000 shlokas of Ramayana. So Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre. The entire Gita is said, some say in 2nd chapter, but entire Gita is actually said in these 8 letters. This is the Astakshari mantra. Astakshari mantra. So Ahalya Bai once asked her Pandit, hey, can you please teach Gita? And he started. When he started Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, she said, Panditji, enough, I understood. Then it was now Panditji's turn to get so astonished. And Ahalya Bai explained, if it can be rearranged as it is allowed in Sanskrit, Kshetre, Kshetre, Dharmam Kuru. Kshetra means field, the field outside the world. Kshetra means body also from the 13th chapter. Idam sariram kaunteya kshetramitya vidhiyate etadyo vetitam prahu kshetrajna iti tatvidah. So this body, mind and intellect complex is kshetra. And dharma we'll talk about. Kuru means act. So then we have to be like Arjuna to understand. So what did Arjuna do? Arjuna had a great friend and a teacher, and each of us have this opportunity. We'll get an opportunity. So seek the knowledge like Arjuna. Make the pledge like Partha. When the body is tired, when the mind is blinded, when the intellect is clouded, when overwhelmed with nervous breakdown in this stressful world, all of us have gone through. If not, we will go through, I guarantee. Then we have to learn to bow down to the Lord, as did Arjuna in the warfield. We have to cogitate, meditate, moderate, and modulate. Perform the penance to dispel the ignorance. And this penance is within us. It is a daily abhyasa. Follow the Lord and win over the world. Allow the Lord to act through you indeed, as did Arjuna indeed. Allow the Lord to act through you in deeds, as did Arjuna indeed. Ask the question when caught in doubt. Seek the answer from the Master, the Great. Reflect and act, not react. Reflect and act, not react. This is the most important thing Swami Ranganathananda used to say. Reflex, knee-jerk reflex is a reaction. But reflecting upon it and acting is the karma yoga. So reacting is karma, reflecting and acting is karma yoga, as did Arjuna in fact. So ask and the answer will be given. Seek and you'll find the truth. Knock and the doors will be open. Coming back to this Dharma Kshetra and Kurukshetra. So what is good for the world and what is right for the people in a given time and place is what is called dharma. Dharma, sukshmatvat dharma. Dharmasya sukshmatvat. It's very subtle. It's so difficult to understand what is dharma. But it is according to desha, kala, vastu. There are two dharmas, Sanatana dharma and Yuga dharma. Sanatana dharma is the eternal dharma which talks about us and ourselves. Purusha, Prakriti, Jiva. Whereas Yuga dharma is how we interact, the social interaction. So what's good for the world and what's right for the people in a given time and place is what's called dharma. And Kshetra is a field of action. Our world is our perception. The act of perfection is always in a contextual projection. It's always a relative. Dharma upholds the world. Dharanat dharma. Anena dhriyate iti dharma. Because of that, everything is upheld. We are what we are. The world is what it is because of dharma. Surya, dharma, because of his nature to light and enlighten us, to give us the light and the light of knowledge is that is dharma of Surya. The light and heat. The heat is the dharma of fire. Then karma propels the people. Kurukshetra is us and is within us as body, mind, and intellect complex. Body is a chariot. There is a great simile, as we all know, which is taken from Kathopanishad. Because Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopala Nandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dubdham Gita Mritam Mahatta. So all Upanishad Sara is Bhagavad Gita. And if you go to Kathopanishad, it is so clearly said, Atmanam Radhinam Vidhi Shariram Rathamevatu Manah Pragrahamevacha Buddhim tu Saradhim Vidhi. So this body is a chariot. Mind, the reins held by the charioteer. Senses are the horses. Indriyani hayanyahuhu, running after the sense objects. So in this world of plurality, we witness the diversity with many a personality. And these personality are three or more than three kinds: demonic, humane, and divine. In 16th chapter, it said Daiva and Asuri, Daiva, Asuri, Sampada. In 14th chapter, we talk about Sattva, Rajo, and Tamogunas, the people endowed with. And if you actually look at these three, we will talk when we come to the 14th chapter. So the three personalities, demonic, human, and divine. And the Pandavas are five, our organs of action and our organs of perception. Guided by Krishna, the intellect as a charioteer. And Kauravas are hundreds of our desires, shades of lust, anger, greed, jealousy, ego, and pride, anchored by the ignorant. Who is that ignorant? Dhritarashtra, the blind king. Dhruta means holding firmly, Rashtra, kingdom. And this kingdom, the body, mind, intellect complex, is held so much by this jiva, with this aham bhava. So that is us, Dhritarashtra, we are the blind ones when we begin our journey. Bhishma, Drona, Krupa, Karna, Duryodhana, Dushasana, Vikarna, Shakuni, Shalya, Ashwathama, and Jayadratha. All of us have some traits of these. Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, Satyaki, Abhimanyu, and sons of Draupadi, Drishtadyumna, and Shikhandi. We do have these traits as well. And it is a fight within us, between us, each one with their own agenda, each one taking a side in the war, each one ready to fight with might and ready to face their own fate in the midst of the war field. Seeing gurus and grandsire, friends and cousins on the other side, kith and kin on either side, Arjuna had nervous breakdown. In chariot, helplessly he sat down. But the most fortunate thing happened to that great Arjuna was Krishna was next to him. So he was looking at Krishna and he was looking up to Krishna. That is something we all have to learn. When we are helpless, when we are restless, when we are in need, we have to find that Krishna who is next to us and look up to Krishna. And then, well, how does Krishna's teaching begin? Krishna's teaching begin with a whiplash, actually. He says, Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupasthitam anarya justam asvargyam akirtikaram arjuna klaibyam asmagam apartha naitatvai upapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktva uttishta parantapa. Uttishta, get up, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Uttisthata, Jagrata, Prapyavaran Bodhata. This is from Kathopanishad. Swami Vivekananda translated in a free translation, and his famous quote worldwide: arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. And for what? To be happy and then to make people happy around you. That's all really. We have to be happy within ourselves. And we have to make people happy around us. That is the whole fruit of good social interaction. And then how does it begin, the teachings? Ashotya nanvashotastvam prajna vadamscha bhashase katasuna katamsoscha nanashochanti pandita. Forget about petty things. Look up and look at a higher goal. And we are all worrying about the things which are not worthy. And in between, in the 11th chapter, Mate Vyadha Macha Vimoda Bhavo. Then at the end, the Charama Shloka, 66th verse in the 18th chapter, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Ishyami Ma Suchaha. So it started with Asocyan and it ended with Ma Suchaha. And that is Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata, no worries whatsoever. That should be our mantra for life. And then for that change to happen, where does it begin? Well, it's easier said than done. Be the change you wish to see in the world, so said Gandhiji. And then in second chapter, there's so many verses. We will be stuck in second chapter all this hour or for days if we don't move forward. But look at this, the beautiful tortoise, the Kurma Avatara. Yada samharate chayam kurmonga neva sarvasha indriyani indriyatebhyaha tasya prajna pratisthita. As part of Sthita Prajna Lakshanas, the person of optimal interaction. It's not perfect person. Again, perfection is in the context of relative aspect, so relative context. So one who is able to withdraw his senses from the sense objects, the tortoise does, as the tortoise does, or the tortoise draws his limbs within the shell, is to be understood as truly situated in knowledge. Then in the third chapter, Lord Krishna, Vedavyasa, he so beautifully puts in Ashtakshari mantras, Mukta Sangha Samachara. Mukta Sangaha Samachara. Achara, practice, work, do. Samachara, act optimally. Act according to the time, place, people you deal with, the need. And how? Mukta Sangaha. So detached from the attachments. Detached from the attachments to what? Attachments of worry, attachments of the perturbations which come from the side effects. These are called side effects of karma, action. Whether I'll be able to fulfill or not. What if this happens? What if that happens? And so many obstacles in between. And the end result, what if it's a failure? So Mukta Sangaha. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, it is the jackfruit. Okay, the jackfruit. I don't know if you ever handle the jackfruit with naked hands. It's all sticky. Yeah. But Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, apply some oil. And then you can play with jackfruit. So that is how the Alepa Vadana. So that Alepa mantra, that Alepa Prasada. So that Alepa was Alepa Vadam Ashritya Sri Krishna Janako Yadha. So Sri Krishna and Janaka did that. Janaka was a Rajarshi. Krishna, we say Bhagavan, but Janaka was a Rajarshi. He was a king and he was a Rishi, a saintly king and a kingly saint. So, Mukta Sangha Samachara. Then, at the same time, have the Dhruti and Utsaha. So, Utsaha and Dhruti. Utsaha is that when you see some people, whatever the workload is, you get so much of energy when those people are around you. And when you see some people, and then again, so they're dull-witted, and then you actually, go along with those kind of personalities. But that dhruti, the determination, then utsaha, the enjoyment of that encouragement within us, and then encouraging others. Then what is this for? This is for loka sangraha. My brother used to say, loka sangraha means it's for the good of the world. So when you say for the good of the world, you are already included in the world. You are part of the world. So good to you always is implied in that. So implied in that. So Swami Vivekananda says that you have to go from I to my family, to my village, to my state, to my country, and then my world and my universe. So that is how we expand. Joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yuktas samacharan. And in the 4th chapter, it is the Chaturvarna, the Chaturvarna, Chaturvarnamaya Sristam Gunakarma Vibhagashaha. This is most misinterpreted verse. Oh, did Lord Krishna say that there are Brahmins, there are Kshatriyas, there are Vaishyas and Shudras? But look at this world, the world, any organization, there are thinkers, there are rulers, there are traders and laborers. If there are too many chiefs and there are not enough Indians, no work can be done. See here, if you see the teachers and thinkers, let's say Guruji, the leaders who are the organizers, the traders who propagate this, who tell these others, hey, this is going on. If you want to join, please join. And the laborers, without them, nothing will move. So this is very important to realize that this division is very important. Then how do we live in the world? Live like a lotus. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyate na sapapena padmapatramivambasa. Born in this world, living in this world, dying in this world. Must we live fully in society, yet untouched by its vanity? How? Like the lotus, which is born in waters, dwelling in waters, perishing in waters, yet untouched by the waters. That is the beauty of the lotus. So like a lotus leaf, live without any grief and give the beauty to the life. Grieve not, my friend, for the Lord is our friend. Detached from attachments, dissociated from associations, deviated from avocations, devote yourself to higher goals. And this is the teaching in brief and the preaching for life, the lotus leaf. So this is a mantra. Padma Patram Ivambasa. Then in the 5th chapter, we talk about Pandit. Muraliji has already mentioned Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shunichaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. So there is a story, of course, this involves Vidya Vinaya Sampanna is the one who is the most knowledgeable and wise. Brahmana, the one who has got the great Brahmin qualities. Go, cow, hasti, elephant. So all these. But you have to know that Brahman exists in all of them. But you have to behave the way we should. If there is a biting dog, you don't want to go near that barking or biting dog. So one disciple goes on the street and then he says that, today I tried to practice what you taught, Guruji, and then I got so hurt. What happened? Oh, well, I was just passing by the elephant and then I just went so close by because you said there is Brahman in elephant. And then it just kicked me off and I fell down. So then Panditji, his Guruji said, you should know that Brahman is in everyone, but not necessarily the elephant knows that Brahman in everyone. So we have to see that divinity, see that dignity of labor and move on. So this samam, samatvam yoga uchyate. Samam means Brahma also. Samam Brahman, nirdosham hi samam Brahma. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Equipoise is the equanimity. And there is a difference between equity and equality. So it is the optimal interaction, treatment and management. You look at this picture here. So this is equality, providing the same height stool for everyone. But this is equity. So you see that how each one's need is realized and projected and practiced. Next one. Now in the chapter 6, the verse 9, it talks about how we should interact with all these people. So Hran Mitrari Udasena Madhyasthadveshya Bandhushu Sadhushvapicha Papeshu Samabuddhir Vishishyate. And guess what? We have all these people with us. Suhrit. Suhrit is that friend who takes care of us when we do not know how to take care of us. That is Suhrit. So there are friends like in the inner circle here. And there are friends who are a little bit outer circle. And there are people who are friendly with us even in the outer circle. So they are Suhrit, they are Mitras. And then there is Udasena. Udasena is not impartial or indifferent. In fact, it has to be taken as Uttasena, someone who can take care of us, seeing the global picture. That's what Lord Krishna did. He was Udasena. Ut means higher, Asena, the one who is seated above and higher. So Madhyastha, these are, you can say that impartial or equal mind. And they are good to the both parties. They are interested in both parties, or they may be interacting with the both parties for their own agenda. And then there are people who hate. Wherever we go, wherever we work, there may always be a jerk. And bandhushu, those who are related to with our either purva janma or this janma. So there are bandhus. Then sadhus. Sadhus are the one who always aims for not only good of ourselves, but for the good of the others, good of the world. Then Papeshu. Papa means not the sinner as we talk in Christianity. Papa means the one who has defects, the one who has inherent issues. Each of us have our own deficiencies. Okay. Then I just quoted a little bit here about who Suhrit is and then who friend is. But in the interest of time, I'll skip them. I'll give you these. These are just my poems. So a friend is like, a true friend is like a ship which takes you across the ocean. So a true friend likes you for what you are. A true friend loves you no matter where you are. A true friend treats you like a child as if you are. That's how Krishna did to Arjuna. True friend leads you to the immortal land and far. Now, chapter 7. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukriti norjana arto jignyasurartharthi jnane cha bharatarshabha. So now we encountered the 4 different kinds of people in the world. What are they? Who are they? Artha, the one who is in distress, the one who is real in need, they may approach us. The one who is Jignasu, who wants to know about us, who wants to know something from us sincerely. And Artharthi, the one who may need something from us. That's it. He just needs something from us, whether cash or credit or some objects or some other interest. So Artha, seeking for a job. So Jnani. These are the ones who just without any selfish interest, just for the good of the world, just for good of ourselves, they approach us and they teach us and they leave. Like Agastya Maharshi who did the teaching to Rama and then just left. Then we see this in our scriptures. Draupadi was Arti. She was in Arti. Gajendra, he was in Arti. And Vishwamitra, he wanted to know what this Brahman is. So, Dhik Kshatra Balam, Dhik Bahubalam, and Balam Brahma Balam. So he wanted to know what that Brahma Balam is. And then Dhruva, he just wanted a seat in the lap of his father because of stepmother. He was not allowed. And guess what? He was given the ultimate position as Dhruvatara. And there are Jnanis, out of pure love, out of sheer love, Prahlada, and then great sages, great rishis. And this Abhyasa, as we talked about, the 8th chapter is all Abhyasa Yoga. Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Chetasa Nanyagamina. So that Divyam, that Paramam, that Purusham, we only know through this Abhyasa. And in the second chapter, of course, it was said, no, not in the second chapter, I think it's in the sixth, Abhyasena ta kaunteya, vairagyena cha grihyate. This mind is controlled. So with Abhyasa and Vairagya, as said by Patanjali Maharshi also. Now, giving and receiving in the 9th chapter. So we have only 10 minutes or so, and we are just halfway through, or a little more than halfway through. So I'll be rushing a little bit, but I'll not leave any important aspect of my talk. How are we doing?
We have about another 10 minutes.
Okay, good. So patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti parutam asnami prayatatmana. So if one offers me with love and devotion, a leaf or a flower or a fruit or a water, what does this mean? So this means some expects tips from us. That is patram. Some, they may be happy just if you just hand over a bouquet when you invite them. So that is pushpam. And fruits for Christmas or for any occasion. So if you just send the fruits or gift basket to your colleagues, that's great. Or water, even if you go to any of these Toyota, so these days even others, the first thing they do is offer water. So, but in our scriptures, these patram, there is a great meaning behind each word. Patra, the Tulsi Patra offered by Rukmini Devi in that Krishna Tulabhara. Or that pushpa offered by Gajendra, just plucked from the lake, or that pushpa offered by Godadevi, or that phalam, which was tasted first by Shabari and offered, and Rantideva offered that last glass of water to the gods. So that is so powerful in that verse. But even more powerful meaning is, patram is the one which falls our body, patram. Pushpam is our jnana pushpam. Phalam is our karma phalam. Toyam is our kanneti dhara, that tears of love. So those are the 4 things which we should offer to the Supreme. Now, this glory, the glory of Lord, is beautifully said in 10th and 11th chapter. So 10th chapter is the audio version and 11th chapter is the video version. Yad yad vibhuti masatvam srimadurjitameva tattadevava gachatvam mamatejomsa sambhavam. So if you see it every day in our daily life, if the Lord Krishna has to come and say that there are 70 plus vibhutis, he said, Praladastasme daityanam, vainateyascha pakshinam, and Naranam cha naradhipam. So now he would probably say, I am Albert Einstein among all men of science. Among all Greek philosophers, I am Socrates. Among all poets, I am Tagore. Among all leaders, I am Modi, probably. So among the all practitioners of non-violence and truth, Mahatma Gandhi. Of all the mothers who dedicated their service, I am the noble woman, Mother Teresa. So these are the few examples given in the 10th chapter, which we can find in our daily life. And these are only a few glimpses. These are the role models. These are the noble persons we should look up to and we should aim to become too. Now, the video version is seen. The audio was seeing Bhagavan, that one in all. And now the Vishwarupa Sandarshana, seeing that one, that all that plurality in one. So seeing one in all is 10th chapter. Seeing all in one is 11th chapter. 12th chapter. A beautiful verse. One of my friends said, he went to a Guruji and he said, just learn this, you'll be good in your life. Advesta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha. Nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukka sukakshami. Advesta, not hating anyone. Sarva bhutanam, all living beings. Maitra, being friendly. And karuna, showing compassion. So the same thing is said in Patanjali Yoga Sutras also. Maitri, Karuna, Modita, Upeksha. Maitri, the people who seek friendship with us, of same wavelength, same frequency, same mentality, and same age group, who has same kind of kids, same age group kids. So Maitri. Karuna, compassion to the downtrodden, to the needy. Upeksha, there are always some who don't like us. Find out why they don't, but if there is no reason that they can find or you can find, but they don't like, just ignore them. Upeksha. And mudita, look at the people who are successful and be happy for them, not jealous of them. And there are people around the world, there's so many with their different tastes. So we may have interest in dhyana, we may have interest in jnana, we may have interest in just karma, and we may have interest in each little bit of this. Dhyane atmani pashyanti kechidatmanam atmana anye sankhena yogena karma yogena chapare. So everyone has their own opinion. Respect their opinion, because abhipraya is also a form of Lord Vishnu. You see that in Vishnu Sahasranama. Abhipraya priyarhora priyakrit pritivattana. So abhipraya, opinion, respect others' opinion, because it is divine. And then Gita is truly, my Guruji used to say, it's like chapati yoga. The chapati yoga is you need flour, which is karma, and water, which is bhakti, and fire jnana, and the time dhyana. Then you get beautiful chapati. It's like a prism to me, because when you are endowed or involved in one yoga, you definitely see the beauty in the other yogas, or it is entangled, it is empowered, and it is included. One yoga is not separate from others. One may dominate in that particular approach. So karma is on one side, action, bhakti on one side of the prism, jnana, the path of knowledge, and then the path of meditation is the time taken to reach the top of the prism, the apex of the prism. Now the 14th chapter. So, sorry, I have to apologize. Maybe I have to go 5 minutes overboard. Yeah. Okay, now sattva, rajas, and tamas. You all know that. So sattva is all positivity, purity, and divine, pure. Rajas is the agility, the ability, and there is the selfishness in doing this, any act in this world with this mentality. And then there is a negative, impure, demonic personality. So these three are so beautifully said in 14th chapter. Sattvam rajastamayiti guna prakriti sambhava nibadhananti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. And it's so beautifully expounded in Sundarakanda, how you deal with sattva guna people and rajoguna people and tamoguna people. Knowing these three modes and many modes, we can introspect ourselves. We can interact with the world outside. This is the unique chapter in Bhagavadgita, although it is mentioned in some of the texts, in one Upanishad, but it is so beautifully, vividly, and so nicely expounded in the 14th chapter and in 17th chapter as well, and a little bit of 18th chapter. So Mainaka, Sattva, Surasa, Rajo, Simhika, Tamoguna, and how Hanuman dealt with all of them in a very friendly, dearly manner with Mainaka, and in a very tactful manner with Surasa, and in a merciless, dreadful manner with Simhika. So that is how we interact with the people. And then the 15th chapter, the Lord says that I am the one who is seated, like again he says in 18th chapter, Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishto. And I am the one, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshe Arjuna tishtati. And this memory and memory loss for us, we don't have to feel bad. We have to practice. There are certain things which help us to improve our memory. But the memory loss, the forgetfulness, we have to forget. We have to forgive. And we have to let go our ego. So that is because all this comes from the Lord. All this is divine. Then 16th chapter is starting with Abhayam. Abhayam. Swami Vivekananda says that there are 3 A's. That is Abhaya, being fearless. Ahimsa, Ahimsa, physically, vocally, mentally, and asanga, detachment from the attachment. So detaching from the lower self and attaching to the higher self. And in the 17th chapter, of course, the beautiful tapas, when I said penance, it is said in Shariraka, Vachika, and Manasika tapas. So these are three beautiful verses which talk about tapas, penance, the bodily, and the speech, and the mental tapas. So now, with these last two verses, we'll just end. So here, we talk about, watch the world, my dear friend, because there are friends, foes all around. We have to discriminate and do our duty. If we are nice, some may think we are weak. If we are stern, they think we are harsh. If we are meek, if we do not object, they think we are meek. If we object and argue, they think we are stubborn. If we question, they think we are shameless. If we don't, they think that we are senseless. It is a nature of the nature. It is a nature of the people. It is a personality. Let them think, let them talk. You be yourself, my friend, and you live true to yourself. There is a higher self, there is a higher goal. There is much more in store. Play your part well. Do not quit at all. With self-confidence, with smile and grace, you walk, work, and speak. Live, love, and love. So whatever we do, here, I'll just point out, I don't know whether you see the pointer. So keep up your good work. Show your mark and shine with a spark. Before you begin anything, plan, prepare, and pray. While you are working, focus well and finish with finesse. Karmanye vadhikaraste mapalesh kadachana. After you are done, forget all and worry not about the results. So where there is a will, there is a way. And here, the chariot and charioteer. The two wheels of the chariot, which we did not talk about. So, yadha ekena chakrena na rathasya gatir bhavet. With one wheel, the rathasya gati, the chariot won't move. We need two wheels. The two wheels are human effort and divine effect. Human effort and divine effect are the two wheels of this Ratha Chakra. And the last verse, the last beautiful verse is the entire essence of Bhagavad-Gita. Swami Vivekananda has his own verse, which we quoted in the first, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Shankaracharya was once asked, he quoted 55th verse of 11th chapter, 55th verse. Mat karma krun mat paramo mat bhakta sangavarjita nirvaira sarva bhuteshu yasamameti pandava. If you go deep and dwell into that shloka, that includes all the yogas. Mat karma krut, mat bhakta, nisanga, nirvaira. So all dhyana, jnana, bhakti, karma is all said in that shloka. So now the first chapter, first verse began by Dhritarashtra, the blind king. And the answer to that blind king was given by Sanjaya, the divine person. Sanjaya means Samyak Jayati, the one who conquered convincingly. But if you look at Sanjaya, never fought a war. He won over himself, Samyak Jayati. So that Sanjaya, with Divya Drishti, gives the answer. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanuddhara, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutihi Dhruvani Tirmatirmama. So there is need for action and there is a need for vision. So action without vision is like a nightmare. And vision without action is daydreaming. So we need both for our dreams to come true, to live our dreams and to experience this great bliss and to enjoy this beautiful world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Raju. I think we have all seen Timon and Pumbaa sing Hakuna Matata, but then the way you related it to Ashocha and Anvashocha sperm and then bring it back to something that we were more familiar with in recent days after attending the class I think that kind of connected it, and it made it evident that all our effort, and hopefully we will be able to get to a stage and live like Hakuna Matata, like Timon and Pumbaa. There's for a lot of us, and during your talk we were discussing on the other WhatsApp group, for a lot of us who've been in the corporate world, I think something that relates very closely was on the note of equity and equality that you said, and the three gunas. In corporate in offices, we have these courses that are run where it's a personality test, and everybody is given like a block or a box which is like a blue, yellow, or red color, and we are all supposed to keep it on our desks. The intention is that block is determined what is our guna, or an English word for it is like our characteristics, and are we more aggressive, am I more subtle, and things like that. And by everybody keeping that at the corner of their desk, if I'm approaching someone who has a blue cube or a yellow cube, I know how to interact with them. I think that just comes back to saying what we've already seen here with the three gunas. We had a couple of questions. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So one aspect of that color is, of course, Sattva, Raja, and Tamoguna are represented by colors. But the beauty is there is infinite number of dimensions to this, permutations and combinations. And I know there are so many physicists and chemists in the group, I know. Imagine, so 60, 30, 10, let us say. 60 Sattva, and then 30 Rajo, and then 10 Tamo. And then reverse and just do all the permutations and combinations of these three gunas. Okay, so that's one. The second is what we are born with, and then how we change over a course of time. And third is how we begin the day with which guna, and then how we actually evolve through these gunas. So it's like an endless possibilities with all the permutations and combinations. Thank you.
That's true. Thank you. And we had a couple of questions if you can take, and one that was related on the same topic. Is it okay? Do you have a few minutes to go?
Please. Yes. Oh, no, I am good. And you tell me how long it is, and
sure.
Each question you can interject and then stop, and then we can move on. Yes.
Okay. So the first question is probably related to the same topic that we discussed until now. You also talked about the Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam Maitra Karuna Evacha, to not be envious, friendly, and kind. These days, isn't it a Herculean task to be friendly and kind to people who are approaching us or people in our circle? It almost appears like in work or in most places in life also, people are when somebody's talking to you, if they message you or call you, it's almost given that they have some hidden agenda, or they want to get something done, and so that's why they are they're getting in touch with you. So that it's not because of the friendship, but they want to get something done. So how can we actually be friendly, kind, or non-envious?
Being friendly, I don't think it costs much. In fact, it doesn't cost at all. So that's one thing. Then secondly, ability to say no. In fact, in our corporate, in our hospital corporate, we had one of our mentors gave a grand rounds on how to say no. 20 different ways of saying no. So that's one. And that you can say without hurting, that you can say formally, that you can say with a genuine cause and excuse. So that's one. So Adveshta, there is no reason why you should hate someone or why one should hate others. But now we are not talking about others, how we interact with others. So for us, when we realize that there is no hatred within us. In fact, there are three kinds of anger expression. One is we don't even realize that we expressed anger. So we are so deluded, or we are so angry all the time about that, particularly the moment that aspect is brought up, we are angry. That's one kind. The second kind is we were angry and we realized, I think I was angry. Okay. Sometimes we apologize, sometimes we realize that we were angry. And the third one is, I'll give you examples for all these three also. Bringing the anger for the sake of bringing it out. So the first one, most of us, we are angry and we're so like raging most of the time. And then there are people like this we see in our scriptures, Duryodhana or Kamsa, let's say, or any angry people that we came across without a reason. Then the second one is, most of us, we just get angry and then we realize and then we go say, sorry, boss, or sorry, my friend, and apologies. And the third one is like a mother towards the child. She has to show, baby, she has to show anger, but deep inside she knows that she's enacting that anger. So we see this anger was Ravana was one, and then Ravana. Then Hanuman, after Lanka Dahan, he just repents. Oh boy, I was so angry. Did I do the right thing? And then Rama, Krodham Ahariyat. So he actually brings out the anger to show the anger.
Mm.
So I'm sure, we fall a prey. We are, most of the time, the first and second category. And then we have to develop that personality, I guess.
Thank you. The next question that we've received probably is related to this, and I think you touched upon it a little with the 20 ways of saying no. How long do you endure a relationship, a toxic relationship, either work or personal life? When do you say this is enough and say no?
Thank you for asking that question even beforehand for me to prepare a little bit. It's not an easy question. So you said toxic first. So toxic is toxic to everybody, toxic to ourselves, toxic to the person who is inducting that toxicity. So the toxic relationship has to be stopped, period, because the toxicity breeds toxicity. Number one. Number two, we talk about sahanam titiksha, matra sparshasta kaunteya, shitoshna sukha dukkadaha, agama payino anitya, tan titikshasva bharata. So the titiksha is sahanam, tolerance. But this titiksha is defined by Shankaracharya in such a beautiful way. Sahanam sarva dukkhana, apratikara purvakam, chinta vilapa rahitam. So apratikara, we don't have to take revenge because somebody created a toxic environment. We don't have to take. We can easily get out of that toxic environment. Apratikara. So there's no need to take revenge on that. So pratikara is revenge. So apratikara. Chinta vilapa rahitam. If it is causing so much of chinta, and then if it is causing so much of vilapa, chinta is worry. If it is worrying, if that is worrying the most, why do you want to? When Swamiji used to say, sometimes we see in our, home also, they love to see a kind of a good, sad movie again and then again, just, they are tearful when those scenes come and then they cry. And then you play it again, they cry. Why do you want to play that movie and cry again? So, why do you want to stay in that worrying and toxic environment? So get out. That's second thing. And third thing is the longevity of it. Yes, you have tried everything. We have to try. We have to first, they may not realize that that's creating the toxic environment, number one. Number two, that you have tried your best to stop it. Or you have seen all the avenues. And then, of course, we have our friends, our gurus and all who knows the intricacy of it. Try to understand the other person and the agenda of the other person. And if you look at Mahatma Gandhi also has said, Mahatma Gandhi is known for Shanti and Sahana, but he never encouraged, said somebody just came and then looted our wives and hit and then so mishandled, like they did to Draupadi. The Mahabharata time happened just in 1940s, and even now it happens in 2020s. So Mahatma Gandhi said, that is not Sahana, that is not Titiksha, that is not Shanti. Go, bite them with your teeth. So that's what he said. So Lord Krishna also said, these are Atatayins who are right in front. he said, you have to, for the sake of dharma, you have to fight.
Thank you, Doctor.
I hope I answered, but it's not an easy thing. But talk to your gurus and your friends or your, whom you respect, and see, so how far this can be unfolded.
Sure, thank you. And we'll keep the channel open. If whoever asked this question, if there are more, we could actually probably even have like a dialogue. And I will, bring them out to you. I think the next question is probably, more closely related to your day to day. And I think you explained about, the jackfruit. That is the topic that comes to my mind on this question in relation. So, in your daily work, in the job that you do, if you're not successful in saving an infant or having the outcome that you desire, how do you accept full or partial accountability or responsibility for the outcome? How do you actually deal with the situation? And how do you look at yourself to improving based on that outcome?
Thank you. Thank you for asking that too. Most of the time we remember our failures more than our successes. So if you look back, so I know, honestly, I know how many babies we couldn't save. And if you're the leader of the team, we should be ready to accept the failure as a leader. This is Abdul Kalam. One day, so when there was a failure, when he was in space center. So when after the failure, he came and he apologized to the whole nation. And when the scientists were successful, he said, now it is your turn, go and talk to the people. So a true leader should be that, and we have to practice that. And we do say that when we go to the parents and we explain, so one of us, most of the time it is the physician in the group takes the responsibility. And then even if you know that it is not your fault, most of the time it is not ours. It haunts you. It haunts you. And then there is always something which needs to be improved. So we have this debriefing. Thank you for asking the question, which I'm very familiar with in our work field. So after every resuscitation effort or after every important and very life and death question or resuscitating a baby soon after birth when the baby needs or a child. So we do debriefing. And the three points we raise is, how well did it go? Okay. How well it went? What went well? So what went well is the first one. And what didn't go well? What didn't go well? Then how can we make it better next time? That is the third point. So there is always something to improve. So there is always room to improve. Even the best becomes even the best in the future times because they are improving upon. So the improving process is there. And then we have something what we call Pdsa cycle, Pdsa. So plan, do, and then study, act, and it doesn't stop there. Then plan again. So it's a cycle. So plan, do, act, Pdsa, plan, do, study, act, then plan, do, study, act. So it is the quality improvement. It is a lifelong process. It is a lifelong process. And then sure, it haunts us. The failures, they look at us, they stare at us, and they glare at us. And then successes sometimes smile at us. They smile at us because we know that the success is not because of you. And this Lord Krishna says, Panchaitani Mahabaho Karanani Nibodhame Sankhye Krutante Proktani Siddhaye Sarva Karmanam Adhisthanam Tadha Karta Karanam Cha Pruthakvidam Vividhascha Pruthak Chestaha Daivam Cha Atra Panchamam. Adhisthanam, you should be in a stable body, mind, and intellect complex. You should be in a stable, healthy condition and stable mind. Adhisthanam. Tadha karta, your doership, your interest and zeal and enthusiasm to do that. Karanam cha pruthakvidam, you had all the instruments. You want to intubate that baby, but you don't have a laryngoscope or working. You don't have a tube actually to put in. So all the parikaras, in your case, again, your own instruments. Karanam cha pratak vidam, vividhas cha pratak chestaha. The opportunities. If some success has happened, your sheer luck that your opportunity that you were there. Or you explored that opportunity and then came in. So that's the fourth. And the fifth is Daivam cha atra panchamam. That's why successes smile at us, failures glare at us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Raju, for letting us in through the doors deep into your daily operations cycle. And then it was evident that you hold this very close to you, and the emotions were evident as well. Thank you for the deep answer and a clear answer. The next question is slightly moving on to another topic. We talked about dharma especially, right? And you covered quite a lot about dharma. And this question is related to that. And particularly for a situation that closely relates to many of us who've moved, who've immigrated. As a first immigrant, we face conflict quite often, especially between caregiving to our own child versus taking care of parents who are back home, maybe in India. As well as employment and personal health. In these conflicts, many of the times you can only choose one versus the other. Do you choose to be here? Do you choose to move back? Or do you choose to, what do you choose? And how do we use, what is the right direction for dharma here? What can we be dropped?
Dharma. So dharma is so intricate word, so difficult. In fact, there is no true translation for dharma. There are some other words like karma, yoga, and all. So I have to say Swami Bodhananda from Kalamazoo, about whom I did briefly talk to you. Swami Bodhananda is in Kalamazoo, Sambodhashram. He defines dharma in a modern way, in a different way. So dharma, we talked about, there are so many dharmas. Dhriyate anena, by this it is upheld. And then dharanat dharma. Then sahaja dharma, one's own nature is dharma. Then there are yuga dharmas according to time and place. Then there are vritti dharmas according to the profession we are in. Then there are raja dharma. Then there is Shishya Dharma, there is Guru Dharma, and Pitru Dharma, and Putra Dharma, and so on. Then there is this modern Dharma, Swami Bodhananda says. Health is the most important thing. The four padas of Dharma in the modern era. One is health. If we are not healthy, we cannot do anything. So, Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadha. So, first of all, we have to take care of ourselves. That is a prime important thing in our life. So we have to take care of ourselves, both physical. So health again is defined by WHO as physical, mental, and social. And then if you add spiritual to it, so this is health. So you have to take care of your health. The second is environment. We know the consequence of not taking care of environment. So for future generations. So that's the second part of our dharma. And the third part is doing a creative, productive work, which is helpful for the world. So creative and productive work. And then fourth is compassionate justice. So justice is not the same. So as we talked about, the equity versus equality. So the compassionate justice. Those who need, those who are in need us more.
Thank you, Dr. Raju. Thank you for all the time today and taking time to answer these questions as well. We are nearing the end of our main program, and then we will have like a more open discussion also following that. In the interest of time, I would now invite our Guruji, Sri Shivaswamy Kevi, who's been teaching us Bhagavad-Gita over a 3-month course, over several years. For all of you who are watching the program today and who've not attended the classes, I would like to bring to attention that Sri Shivaswamy KV runs Bhagavad-Gita classes, and right now in Kannada, and we plan to expand to English also if there are audience and if there is interest on it. So If any of you are interested to take Bhagavad Gita classes from him, you can send an email to kvshivaswamy@gmail.com. And some of us are volunteering. We can arrange for you to join to one of his classes. The structure of the class is going to be for 1 hour a day, 6 days a week. He's going to read the shloka, explain the shloka, and give an example of everyday life. So you would not be learning to chant without understanding the meaning, and you would not be just stuck on the meaning. You would be getting an opportunity to both chant and learn the meaning and relate it to your everyday life, and understand how it how it helps in your everyday life. So once again, the email ID is kvshivaswamy@gmail.com. You can email and we can help you. We can arrange to have you join for one of the next batches. So with that, I would like to invite our Guruji, Shri Shivaswamy KV. Gurugle.
Dr. Venkata, a wonderful talk you have given. All the while I was thinking, if a man like you conduct Bhagavad Gita classes, explaining every shloka, what a great thing it would be. That was the thought that was coming to me when you were explaining every point. When you talk like this, it won't reach people a lot. If you just do shloka by shloka to people, that too with such great examples that you have given, you'll be doing a great service for Bhagavad Gita in the world. It's the need of the hour, as you said. In the world of so much of tension, men want to be free. And as doctors you have seen, there is a lesson here for us to learn. When Shivaswamy does it, he is a philosophy student, he does it, it's his duty, he does it. When a doctor does it, it's something great that a doctor has been doing it. Why don't I learn from a doctor? So that's my thought all the while going on in my mind. Somehow, sir, with some preparation, why don't you make one trial in your life? You are a wonderful teacher. One trial of taking some students, some friends of yours, make an effort for 3 or 4 months, it may take maximum. That would bring wonderful result. Usually I tell one thing. When Swamiji's talk of Bhagavad Gita, they are saying they do not know the trouble of the worldly people. We married people, we people involved in the world. When the people involved in the world talk, there is more value for that. So that always that comes to me. When a Swamiji speaks, he doesn't know what's the problem in the family, what's the problem in the society, in the sense he is outsider, he is detached. But we are living in that. And when we explain, that would be a greater thing. And another thing I have been saying is such a wonderful thing which I have been saying. There are two great mantras that for us. One is Bhagavad Gita, a beautiful advice given by Krishna to Arjuna for a wonderful life. Another also, which I usually tell in my class, you mentioned, I was really surprised then. Aditya Hridayam. One is a mantra told by Krishna himself. Another is a mantra repeated when he was an incarnation of the God. Still he was in trouble. He repeated the mantra of Aditya Hridayam. I tell my friends who are learning Bhagavad Gita from me, I don't want to call them my students because they are so big also. To do two things. Read Bhagavad Gita, repeat Aditya Hridaya every day, 3 times, because Etat Trigunitam Japtva Yuddeshu Vichesati. That is what Adi Agastya says to Rama. So I ask them to repeat it twice every day. And mantra can be repeated in 3 ways. One, loudly, and another upamshu, only moving our lips, and another one is just silently doing it. All the time that this takes, 32 shlokas of Aditya Hridaya will take around 3 minutes. And it is the mantra which has been repeated by our incarnate Rama. the greatest person which we consider as the highest God that we have seen in the avatars. So those are the two things. And some of the things which are attached detachment, a beautiful concept. Live in the world, do all your duties, still be detached and be happy every time. And Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is another great point which you also explained so greatly. World has become smaller. You are in US and I am in India, I am in a small corner of India, but still we are together. So for us, the family is not just India now. It could be total human beings. So Swadesho Bhunatrem, that mantra stays. My Desha is all the three worlds. Such a great world we have been living in. So nice that you came and gave time. And I also know that 1 hour was very insufficient for you because you had to run fast completing the gist of the chapters. Still, that is what we could do today at least. But my again re-wish is somewhere try to do a class for people. So thank you so much for coming here and talking to us.
Thank you. Guruji, and please, all the audience here, whatever good which happened in last hour and a half, it is all because of the grace of Gurus. All the Gurus. I'm not saying this for the sake of saying. I could only speak all the good through the grace of Gurus. So much I learned from all these Swamijis, Swami Bodhananda, Swami Sarveshananda, Swami Sivatmananda, and Swami Paratmananda. And whatever I learned from all other Swamijis prior to them, and the Gurus, and for the last few days interaction with Shiva Swamiji and you all. So if at all you didn't like something, because the Shastra has to be respected. If you think that I misinterpreted something, you know that it is my monkey mind, or I just interpreted the way I understood, or I just wanted to instigate some interest in the young. And but this text is something which is the God incarnated in the form of text. So the best way we can do justice to this text is trying to apply even a little bit. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Thank you. Thank you, Guruji. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Raju. Thank you, Guruji. Thank you for all the time and the great information that you've shared today. I think we can start our journey right from today, or continue our journey with karma, bhakti, jnana, dhyana, and embark on the chapati yoga from today. Thank you. I think that was the most optimal given a Saturday morning, the most time relevant metaphor. Thank you. And now it's time to end our main part of the program. So I would invite Athar again for our prayer. Atharva.
Om Gita Mahatmyam Gita Shastramidam Punyam Yah Patet Prayatah Puman Vishno Padamavapnoti Bhayashokadi Varjitaha Gita Adhyena Shilasya Pranayama Parasya Cha Naiva Santihi Papani Purva Janma Kritani Cha Malanirmochanam Pumsam Jalasnanam dine dine Sakrut Geetham Vasisnanam Samsaramalanashanam Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimanyehi Shastra Vistaraihi Vyasvayam Padmanabhasya Mukapatma Trinisruta Bharatamrita Sarvasvam Vishnor Vaktra Dinisrutam Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punarjanmana Vidyate Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogda Gopalanandanaha Patho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Geetam Vritam Mahata एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतं मेको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियेण वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृतिस्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। हरि ओम तत्सत् सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
Abhi, we can stop streaming and settle.